Hi everyone in cloud computing, and welcome to episode 13 of the Cloud Computing Training Show with Brad Nelson and internationally recognised and world's #1 cloud industry expert and thought leader, David Linthicum. This show is sponsored by Nelson Hilliard, cloud computing recruitment specialists, placing great people in cloud, IoT, fintech and AI. In this week's show, David and I will be talking about Amazon Web Services have announced the launch at AWS Restart, which is a free training and job placement program in the UK to educate young adults as well as military veterans and their spouses on the latest software developments and cloud computing technologies. Hi Dave, great to see you and welcome back to another cloud computing training show.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an important topic. I think this is amazing that Amazon is actually doing this right now and training people to, go out and make a good living, and ultimately cloud computing is the way to do it.
It really is another innovative stroke of forward thinking by Amazon, really, isn't it? We only discussed, I think, and there was a blog that you wrote actually about AWS moving into the high schools of the US. So this really follows on from that, and it's forward thinking for building its tribe for its AWS networks and stuff, which is pretty cool. So how do you see other countries benefiting from these types of programs?
Well, I wish there was something like this here in the States, and I think there's aspects of this that AWS is working on. We talked about the things in the high schools and things like that. But, the reality is that the ability to kind of bring these skills into the inner cities, into the, veteran community, into, in essence, people that are kind of lost in terms of what they need to do with their career in order to go out and make money, it really is kind of money in the bank. And I think AWS and basically getting behind these programs is not only helping themselves because people are understanding more about their technology, but it's enabling people to go out and making not only a good living, but a fantastic living. So instead of working, a minimum wage job or, something that you don't necessarily want to do, if you have an aptitude for computing, you can go in and get an Amazon certification, and go out and get a pretty good job. And by the way, this doesn't mean you need to be a drop-dead architect or a drop-dead developer. This just means you have the basic capabilities to operate an Amazon cloud, to do some basic maintenance activities, and basically build our entry-level positions into the Amazon world. And this is something I've been telling people for years. And so I deal with a lot of people who are teachers and have a career path they don't necessarily, I don't want to pick on teachers, but have a career path they don't necessarily think is the right way for them to go, and they want to basically make additional money and have something that's a little bit more satisfying what they're able to do. And I tell them go learn cloud computing, because if you get an Amazon certification, even the basic certification, someone's going to hire you for a pretty good salary, and you're able to really kind of get into the business as an entry-level person and then prove yourself and build up your way to the business. And this is something that is life-changing for many individuals. I had a friend of mine who was who had a son who was a teacher, and quite frankly, he couldn't make a living to support the family, and really was kind of looking to take things to the next level. I told him to go get an Amazon certification and basically understand things on his own and start building, technology within the system. And he did that, was able to get a job, and he quadrupled his salary, in a matter of a year, and was able to, kind of get into something that was a bit more aligned with his interests and his talents and things like that. It's not for everybody, by the way. I'm not going to basically push people into a computer career if you don't necessarily want to do it. But the reality is that if you're looking to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, that technology is probably the best way to do that. And cloud computing technology is the best way to do that today. Amazon seems to be the low-hanging fruit because the number of training programs that are out there, to kind of get you to where you need to go. And here's an instance where Amazon is paying in the UK, to get people who really free training and job placement programs, for people who are looking to get into the system. I'm sure they're not taking people who aren't motivated to be successful. And if you have the willingness to succeed, you have the capabilities, you have kind of the core skills, people are willing to give you the training and get you the job placement. So how can you go wrong? So this is something that Amazon should be committed in doing. I think it's a good thing in the UK. We're probably going to start seeing more of this stuff in the States, hopefully in Australia, all over the world. And I just want people to understand that they can always find a path to increase their value to the marketplace, make a better living, and kind of live the dream.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a real good feel good factor about what Amazon are doing here, with the bringing in of retraining people that aren't satisfied in their current job. But looking a bit more in depth at that, you've got the armed forces, which go through a real struggle sometimes with realigning themselves with civvy street, as they call it, and that's a global thing, isn't it? When people come out of that real I would say tough life, but it's emotionally strenuous involvement in the armed forces, obviously depending on where you've been deployed and what you've been through, etc. Not only that, but the training, but realigning back to civvy life, as it were. So I think the fact that AWS has signed the Armed Forces Covenant on that one is a really good thing, because it really does help the returning servicemen and women that are facing that daunting task of where do they fit back in sort of the civilian workforce, where is their part, and with that motivation, and they are very, very motivated, it's just finding that niche for them. So I think that's a really feel good factor with regards to what Amazon are doing for them, just them alone, really. There are many obviously people that will benefit from it, but from an armed forces point of view, I think that's a pretty good move.
Yeah, absolutely, and to their benefit, I mean, I've had a lot of requests from veterans organizations, things like that, and they come to me to ask to get cloud providers involved, and I went ahead and sent it to Amazon, and they've stepped up, pretty much every time, to basically contribute in some way to make it easier for our men and women coming back, from combat situations, to kind of figure out a way and a path to be successful in a career. I mean, the reality is you kind of take a typical veteran who's, in a 20-something kind of sense, not someone who's 40, 50 years old, retiring as a colonel or a general. I think their paths are pretty much set as to what they're going to do. But they've, been a soldier for 6 years. They've gone through basic training, got out of, high school at 18 years old. Gone off to Afghanistan or, some other, kind of theater out there of combat, spent a lot of time in working those positions, could have been injured. We have a lot of IED things where limbs are severed and, a lot of amputees in the United States come back here. And then suddenly they find themselves out of the Army or out of the Marines or out of the Navy or whatever they were doing, with a big question mark in front of them as to what the career path is going to be. Now, a lot of companies hire veterans, but they would hire them at, basically entry-level salaries it's going to be very tough for them to basically get into the market. Where here you have technology, and by the way, a lot of these veterans are extremely technologically savvy. I mean, they fly drones, they basically operate computer systems, weapon systems, things like that. They understand how things work. The ability to kind of give them a path to success, which is probably something you haven't thought of before. So they don't come out of the military thinking that they're going to be cloud computing architects or developers or operators or whatever Amazon's looking to trade. But their ability to kind of get kind of core skills gets them into the jobs that they need to get into, so they can build their skills up and basically grow their talents and grow their careers in the particular companies that they're working for. So this is kind of a core way, not necessarily to provide them with the ability to work on Amazon for the rest of life, even though they may do that, but the ability to kind of prove themselves into a company, start working their way up, and basically map the career path to whatever they want to do, which is their passion within the organization. And a lot of these young people come out with great leadership skills, great organization skills, great work disciplines, things like that. And this is a way to make them, successful in doing that. And so this is a great thing to do. I mean, this is one of the things that, I think not only will be successful, but, I'll just wait to see when it's successful.
Yeah, it really will be good to see, how it rolls out and what the return is on, the investment into the re-education of these individuals. What is nice as well, and it sort of bolsters the feel-good factor behind the whole idea, is that there's large companies that are already, that have job placements ready once these people are qualified. So there's an output to it as well. It's not just about, get a qualification, add it to your CV and go into the job market. There are people that are ready to receive these people, which I think's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're 100% placeable. I think that if you get out of an Amazon certification, you have kind of the core skills, someone's going to be there to hire you. And so, this is, really ultimately you defining your success in a way in which you basically accept the fact someone's willing to help you. You have to help yourself in doing the training and doing the certification, understanding what the technology is. And then, probably more courageously going into a business and proving yourself within that business and basically, pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. And so I see this happen all the time, typically not through some sort of a program where you're given the skills. Basically, people have to go to community college and they do things online. They go ahead and pay for their education into themselves. Here's someone willing to do that. In other words, providing you with the skills you need to be successful, and all you have to do is take it. And I think these things are really going to be kind of par for the course going forward. I think that the technology companies are going to provide the capabilities for people to learn about their technology, to get into the job market, to become successful as a human being, where they get the benefit of people understanding their technology and basically going out there and as an ambassador for their technology going forward into these organizations. So whether you're Google or Azure or Alibaba or AWS, which is the 800-pound gorilla, your ability to kind of understand the technology and basically provide free-based training, which is all CDP, computer, digitally delivered training these days, videos, things like that. Your ability to kind of go through those courses, understand what's going on, is going to be a very easy thing to do, almost very seamless. And then your ability to basically get the job you need is going to be something that people are going to help you with in making it happen. So this is a great thing. So that doesn't mean we're going to have to take the ambition out of people. People still have to be ambitious and understand how they're going to basically pull themselves up at the bootstraps and take the career in their own hands and basically manage it correctly. That doesn't go away. But we have all these opportunities that are starting to appear out there that people should take advantage of, which would basically jumpstart the career, which allow them to get quickly to a $100,000 US salary, which is something that's kind of the minimum for happiness, I think, in the States.
Yeah, it's great. Well, it'd be great to see this rolled out in America as well, because I'm sure there's lots of veterans that would be really, feeling that they can get their position back in society, and coming out of wherever they've been, Afghanistan, Iraq, wherever. But yeah, no, I think it's a great thing. Dave, what a great topic for the show. I mean, it's got a real good feel good factor for that. So thanks for being part of the show. It's awesome as always.
Well, thanks for AWS for doing this. I mean, it's really a great thing going forward. And I think that, giving back to the humans that are out there is what it's all about. The ability to kind of lead people into technology for their own benefits and their own happiness is ultimately what the big companies, the big technology companies should be doing. So kudos to AWS for actually realizing this beyond their profit line and realizing that giving back to society is a good thing.
100%, really is. And there's some shows that you've done as well on lynda.com, which are all around AWS. So I'll put a link in the description box below for people to check out some of your courses as well.
Absolutely, check out. Worked hard on those.
Excellent stuff. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the Cloud Computing Training Show this week. Remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future shows, and obviously check out the ones we've done before as well. You can get David on Twitter, which is @DavidLinthicum, and myself on Twitter, which is @Nelson_Hilliard. Thanks again for watching.